I'm just gonna try and find a way of putting this in my pocket to try and hide all the cable. It's quite a lot of cable. Something like that. I guess that's pretty, you know, that's pretty, you know, I just put some on, yeah. Bring back the water. Bring my flask here. It's getting greener. Greener and greener.
Yeah, the idea is going to be now the green.
Yeah.
Bon, I finished the painting now. Now I put the, I need to wait for that to dry, and I put the...
greener and greener.
You know that transparent product?
Mm-hmm.
Which will be green, seeing green through all here. And the idea is to go lighter in the center. So
20 past 2, Thursday, so it's, let me just do that. It's 22 minutes past 2, it's Thursday the 23rd. Thursday the 23rd of April. I'm discreetly mic'd up.
No?
I'm discreetly mic'd up, you couldn't really tell, could you?
No.
There.
You'd be warm with that jacket, I think.
Yeah. It's to hide the cable for the... No, it's for me. Okay, let's get rid of some of this muck on the shoes. No, Tuco, go back to sleep. You're not going anywhere. No, you'll be stretching. It's too hot for you. It's too hot for you, little fella. You can come downstairs and walk me to the gate. You want to do that? You want to walk me to the gate? Little fella. Allez. I'll be back in an hour. Allez. Good boy. Which way am I going to go? Shall I go straight through the field? You know what? I won't, because it'll just make that sound. Me swishing through the grass. So no, I won't do that. I'll go the long way. I have to. Right. This is also kind of an experimental recording because I'm using the lapel mic with the adapter that I bought to adapt the 4-sectioned what do you call it, 4-sectioned connector into a 3-sectioned connector, something like that. And I tried it the other day, but I plugged it into the audio port instead of the mic port. So hopefully I have it set up right today, and I've got all the cables. I've got all the cables kind of stashed away in my pocket underneath my blue Decathlon jacket. And as was already said, today is the 23rd of April, Thursday, and next Thursday is the 30th, which is the last day of April. So we got one more week left. Time flies. One more week left. Then we're into May. And we'll be expecting some changes to the lockdown on the 11th of May, I believe. Which may at least mean there'll be no fears in walking into the Connemara and back. I just think me and Flo are going to have to invest in a couple of masks. It's going to be a strange world going around with everybody wearing masks. Today there's a breeze in my face, but it's a beautiful sunny day. The rain and the grey skies have gone. And I have kind of that feeling of bloatedness, kind of aches and pains in my abdomen. I know what it means. I need to go to the loo, and over the last few days and even weeks I've been eating so much crap, really. I've been having like a dozen cups of tea every day, and every time I have tea I have biscuits, and there's no gap to fast like I had when I was working in the Connemara. I'd go in and just have a coffee maybe, but then I wouldn't touch anything at all till 4 o'clock when I'd come back from walking. And then 4 o'clock I may have some toast, and then in the evening in the Connemara at 7 or whatever I might have something. But normally it would always be light, maybe just some chips and a piece of chicken, half a crepe. I'm very, very conscious of just eating enough and trying to keep myself kind of light inside, so that I'm not that horrible feeling of being stuffed where it affects the mood, you know. It just makes you, well, everything aches. And I think too much food and stuff can kind of take away your motivation, kind of cloud your mind a little bit. But yeah, it's difficult. I think that some of the time I'm just eating out of boredom and habit, and I've noticed I'm never full. It's like last night, my God, 2 o'clock, half 2 in the morning. I've just finished eating crisps, and then I started eating some pistachio nuts. But I could have kept going. I just could have kept eating. gonna have to work on that. Especially because I'm not even doing any real exercise at the moment. I mean, I like the notion of walking from the Connemara back to the house, then walking to go, and then, that's quite a lot of exercise. And then I feel, well, now I really can do with some kind of a snack, but I haven't been hungry over the last 4 weeks, I'd say. I really haven't. I haven't had an appetite at all during this whole time, and it's understandable because I'm not giving myself a chance to get an appetite. I've already had some tea and biscuits this morning. I didn't get up till 1 o'clock. But what I should really be doing now is I should get up at 1 o'clock. I try and get some kind of exercise, like now. And then I shouldn't eat anything at all till about 8. Yeah. So the sun is out after the rain, which means this crop of maize must be feeling pretty good. You can really, you can see all the green now without any problems. And so in 4 or 5 days it really has already grown. Looks a bit like the whole field is going to be covered in weeds, but they're not weeds. Talking to Flo late last night. Flo is also, habits are changing, she stays up later. But we were both kind of saying how this kind of life, staying indoors all the time and not really doing anything, could be a prelude. Is that the right way of saying that? Prelude? A rehearsal for retirement. Someone retires and then they don't have a job to go to anymore and they're being looked after with their pension and stuff, and so they find themselves in a situation where they don't really have to do anything anymore. They could just stay in and go into their garden and not really, And me and Flo were saying this last, how long has it been? 5 weeks or something. We've often said it's a bit like that. It's like a retired couple. And it got me thinking about how to explain there's this, I have to say it as best I can, I suppose, and then kind of have to read between the lines of it a bit. But the strange desperation of, just like Flo put it, it's like you're just waiting. You're just waiting for the end somehow. It's a bit like that. And with me, it's similar. It's like you can strip away all of the silly objectives that caused you distraction and perhaps some amount of unease, and you can strip them away so you realize it wouldn't matter if I had been a successful writer if I had been somebody who had done some films, if I had been a big YouTuber who was getting lots of messages and emails and who people sought out for advice, that'd be the biggest thing for me. If people sought you out because they held your opinion highly, all this stuff during this lockdown, seeing other people, famous people in their houses, has somehow brought the message home of just how unimportant all those trappings are, that at the end of the day you're stuck with yourself in your living room. And maybe for the first time in a lot of people's lives, they're really stuck with themselves, and they have to perform their own distractions. They can't just run to the outside world and be distracted or get lost in their work. They're stuck with themselves. And suddenly, in a space of a week or two, we all seem equal. It doesn't matter whether you're Paul McCartney or Ricky Gervais or some of these top actors, Arnold Schwarzenegger, whether you've got loads of money or not, you're still walking around your garden and you can't get out. You know, there's something very illuminating in that. But getting back to what I was saying, the dropping off of all the things, which is really what you want. It's what we've strived for so long, this freeing ourselves up of all the illusions, the mental tricks, the maya, the veil, if only I could do this or have this, I'd be better. And you finally cure yourself of that, and then you're left there. And there may well be lots of moments of great serenity, and there may well be a newfound strength when it comes to anxiety. There may well be the ability to very quickly cure yourself of worry and stress. You may have found an understanding in states. You may have disentangled things. You may be able to objectively look and listen to the narrative going on in your mind and just switch it off and realize it's nothing really. It's false. It doesn't make. You don't have to listen to it. And so in a sense you become your own physician. Like it says in the New Testament, physician, heal thyself. I remember all these great things about the New Testament, and yet whenever I try and start reading it, I very quickly get bogged down with lots of stuff that just bores me. I guess it's the kind of book you have to read through, and then there's little gems in it that will jump out, you know. So you're left in your house. You manage to cure yourself to some extent, and you've managed to have this appreciation of the small things. A cup of coffee, walking to the river. You've got a nice routine going, playing your game. And even if you've kind of got that serenity, somehow, in spite of all that, there's still that question that I can only put, the best way I've ever seen it put is by John Cleese in Fawlty Towers, when he's doing that thing and at some point he says, you know, your life is done, and you think, is that it? Is that it? Is that all there is? Not so sure it was him. And that's not quite, it's not quite a correct thing to say, because there's been wonderful things in my life. It's like been great, the excitement, the sense of adventure when I was a teenager, all those things have been very good. It's not that there's been, I'm happy with my life and it's been very good. But as you get into middle age and as you start to get older, you kind of hope something bigger and higher kicks in, so that you're not left, like I was saying to Flo last night, you're just kind of thinking, is that it then? I've freed myself from various things, I am quite serene, and so now I just wait. It was actually Flo herself said it a few times. And to me it brought back all the thoughts of Schopenhauer in a sense. And then the only remedy for it, for me anyway, is thinking about Nietzsche and just that simple notion that Nietzsche put forward about the wonderful challenge of having to invent yourself. You know, looking at it in an affirming kind of way and thinking, isn't it wonderful? I have to create this myself, and that's where the answer lies, I guess, in that it is not true to say that it's just, you just have to wait, it's meaningless. It's not. But no one out there is going to show you the way. Perhaps not even Jesus. Perhaps the only thing you can do is find your own way. Maybe that's what Jesus was saying. You gotta make it up somehow yourself. You gotta create something yourself. There is no organization or society to go to at this point to kickstart your existentialist affair, whatever, you know, to cure your existentialist problem. There is no organizations for it. Not for that. Hey, look at this water. Beautiful. Fresh, that's what I want. It's just good thing about this river for them and me is that I can't get to them from where I am because I'll have to go across the river, and they can't get to me. Excuse me. Have a little sip of stuff. Yeah. Just water, huh? I held it in the stream for quite a while, but there's hardly any in the thing. Air bubbles. So you have to reinvent yourself. Flo says you got to have projects, find things to do. Of course, nothing wrong with that, but I think the problem is not just solved in surrounding yourself for doing either. I think to really get to the thing, it's worth maybe going a bit deeper than that. Yeah. I don't know. Reading a good book, let's say reading a good Nietzsche book can act as a kind of catalyst that can maybe give you something for a while to keep you going. Something new. That might be worth considering. I know he has sections on this problem. I wish he had a whole book on it. Nothing to do with religion or morality, just, hey Frederick, when it gets to this point, and you think in some respects you've maybe got to the top of the mountain, where the air is thin and the people are few, what do you do then? It's that question people don't ask very much, isn't it? Like the rapture people. They'll be taken away and they'll be in a state of paradise. They'll be in paradise in a state of ecstasy. That's enough for them. They don't have to question anything more about. What do I feel of those? I don't want to get into all the comments that I read occasionally underneath these videos for the rapture, and I don't mean the ones taking the piss, I mean serious ones, where people have all kinds of things happen to them which are just probably quite normal, and they ascribe them to the outside. You know, it's not because of them, it's always because of something else, good or bad. That wasn't much more, was it? No. I'm taking a detour here. I'm going back to the river through this pathway, one that I very seldom go, but at least no problem at all getting into the river here. There's a couple of people on the path coming toward me. I'm going to see if I can avoid them. I listen to these audio vlogs at night. I don't know how many I've got. I think I got 40 something on this particular device at the moment, which I must check, but I think there's 2 gigabytes of space, and these things really don't take up much space, so you could do 100 different recordings on this. They're interesting to listen to, in a sense that the walk is always the same, but the conversations I have are obviously not the same. I try not to get fixated on any one specific point, and what Eckhart Tolle was talking about narrative and stuff is all fine, but the subject I've been talking about for the last half an hour or so, I think that's something slightly different. It's not like an obsessive thought going round and round. It's a very interesting psychological and philosophical question. And I don't mind spending a whole walk discussing something like that. Because it's not a repetitive loop. It's like far from it. There isn't really any. It's a wonderfully difficult topic, and in a sense I feel a certain pride in contemplating it, because it's the kind of thing I would imagine man has been contemplating for as long as they've been around. Yeah. What's it all about? Is that it then? Hard to explain that feeling sometimes. An unusual feeling. Like that feeling I'm talking about when you just get it at some point during the day and you think this is like retirement, and what would it be like if we were both 70 now? And if we both were retired? And you're thinking, I'm 70, so I'm kind of glad I've lived to be 70, first of all, because lots of people don't. Secondly, we're comfortable and everything's fine, and we got some money, and we got a TV and all this equipment, and I can keep occupied. But that's it. That's where the rub lies. It's like, what do I do next? What's it been all about? I haven't found the magic key. Kind of like watching a very kind of interesting, enigmatic, up and down great movie that just ends in an anticlimax, and you say, is that it? I don't understand. Fill up my flask again. Filling up a flask, huh? I like to take some take the essence of the river, so that's why I feel it's good to drink the water. There's also something very symbolic about me going with this flask down and taking the water and treating it with the same respect that I treated something a bit stronger at one point. Yeah, so like I said, it's an interesting topic. On the Schopenhauer side, which it's not something I'd like to go with, because I'd like something a little more lifting. On the Schopenhauer side, you think it might be it might cause a deep relaxation and a stronger sense of humor to have the awareness of how pointless it all is. When you see people getting all flustered over things, you can kind of look on and say, well, isn't it amazing getting flustered over whatever it is? Don't they know that it doesn't matter? Passing the exam, writing the book, becoming the president. Becoming president. Now there's a thought that's... When I was a kid... Wow. You really wouldn't see this path here unless you knew it was here. It's the one that me and Flo took yesterday, but it really is. It's you never see it from the river bed point. Being the president, yeah, when I was a kid, I used to give these speeches. This is going back a long way. It goes back to the early 80s. Certainly the early 80s. It was kind of designed to motivate myself to study, actually. So I used to talk like I was giving a press conference, and I had myself as being like the Taoiseach, the Prime Minister, and I was talking to, I guess, the world. And we were making plans and setting up schemes to help the main man, myself, operate better. You know. So I'd be saying stuff like, today we are going to implement a new strategy for study so that by Christmas, or by the summer, we will have studied all of the biology and geography and whatever that we need to, and we will be prepared for the exams. This new policy will be implemented next week, and we will start studying every Tuesday and Thursday, whatever. I was only 15, 14 doing that. 54, a long time ago. Some ideas, man, they're always good, you know. They never go out of season. That one I like. Kind of side note, you know, at the end of the day, I didn't really study all that much. I was always too distracted. And the temptation to go outside or play football or watch the TV was too much. And it just goes to show I never particularly liked what I was studying. You know, ironically, if I had to study it now, I probably would enjoy it, actually. A lot of it's just a case of reading stuff. You read stuff and you enjoy it, and then you remember it. It's like everything's like a kind of story, you know. Maybe not biology as much, but all the history, and especially history. Just like a story. Yeah. We got such a choice of things to do this lockdown. I have such a choice. I've got so many gadgets and objects. I could spend the day working on any one of them, you know. I could put together a movie. I say I could put together a movie. Maybe I should be more honest and say I couldn't put together a movie. I don't have any ideas. It's funny we say, well, we've got all the stuff there, so it's what you would have dreamt of years ago, the ability to do this. But having everything there doesn't mean you can do it. You need that something inside, that idea. It's like having a canvas and paint means, well, I guess you can paint something, but it doesn't necessarily mean you can paint if you're not really inspired, you know? Guy on one of those dirt bikes. The noise of those fucking things. I've been hearing that in the distance for the last half an hour. I don't know where he came from. He could have been on the far side of the fucking river. But it's like the noise is like a 10-mile radius of noise. Anyway, what was I saying? I had the books, but I didn't want to study. I wasn't interested. And I've got all these things at home I could do, but perhaps just having stuff there doesn't mean you can do it. Yeah, but if you sit down and you get inspired, you just do something. And of course there is this video about this adapter. I could do that. Yeah. It's amazing. In spite of everything I said, I still feel a little bit of a little sense of irritation that I'm not doing a video, you know. It's like it's my duty to do videos. It's like that's my homework. But sometimes you got nothing to say except maybe that little explanation of this adapter. Because damn, I wish I'd found a video like that some time ago. Some explanation. There's the moment when my mind starts to go on to something which is very small, and it is going to start obsessing about it. Why don't you do that? Well, yeah, you should do that. But what about doing something else and it gets into a loop? That's a negative narrative that doesn't really serve any purpose. because I've just been saying how pointless it is anyway. I mean, you can be distracted for a while, it's good, but it doesn't kind of get to the core issue. How do you reinvent yourself? How do you get to a point where those things don't become an irritating issue anymore? So it's like it doesn't come to your mind in any sense that you should be doing this or that or the other. How do you get to a point where it's like, hey, I'm not bothered by that anymore? How you doing? Cricket. Maybe that's the problem. The simplicity of it, though. We can't do nothing, and yet at times we should, and maybe we're trying to learn to do nothing, but we can't. I have to come up with something to do for the afternoon. I can't sit in a chair and stare ahead. Whoa, what does one do? What do you do when push comes to shove? Helicopter in the distance. There's some clouds around, lots of blue. What do you do? I don't want to get into that, but that was the thing with alcohol. That need to do stuff disappeared. You came up with something that was normally quite simple. I'm going to walk and listen to this music. And that was exciting to put together a playlist. And that was it. That was all you needed. And perhaps because yesterday I certainly was in a bit of a slump, unmotivated. It comes, goes, and I don't want to get in any kind of argument or discussion, especially about ideals and, well, anything with Flo now, because I don't want to project this mood on her. You know, you could get into something where she says, this guy's great, and I think, some guy on YouTube, and I think, oh, that's crap. And all of a sudden my own frustrations get into the conversation, and it's like, oh, this is unconsciously I'm venting in the conversation. So I don't want that to happen. Stiff upper lip. Keep the good side forward, old boy. Satguru from here. It's the Satguru hour, half hour. Hurry. Look who's back, Tukwa Singh. Look who's back.
You are in some way bound to a woman, then you will sit here. Otherwise, single man. Can't control him, he's all the time on. If you are invulnerable, it is very effortlessly you will still. Otherwise, a woman can tie you down.
Now you're talking.
Anyway, the economy and the
It
destruction
was
of the planet
a nice description of women
is
and
not
men.
gone to that place where
A woman tying you down.
No, not
Yeah.
women and men, feminine attributes and masculine attributes.
still need a woman.
Ah.
And say feminine attributes, they want to stay put, you know, they want to settle down, they want little comfort and things like that. That's the feminine
Or
attribute.
they are
Masculine
super ambitious
attributes,
tyrants,
they want to
they
go
are
to the other side of the mountains because that side is not good.
Yes.
They always want more, they always want to go
So,
higher.
has Devi been destroyed? Well, I'm telling
It's
you, it's
inertic.
all over this country.
That attribute are
Yeah.
you settle down. But it's true.
Jung says that it's like the masculine side of the woman is the unconscious
There is a temple for
drive of the woman.
No Tamil Nadu
Huh?
village is
The masculine side of the woman is kind of the unconscious part, but that can be the drive.
There she's Mari, here she's Mariamman.
Yeah, for example, I've got a strong masculine side on me and you've got a strong feminine side. But it's true that you see a lot of people that say, oh, leave it nice in couple, he's not going to do that and that and that. No, a lot of guys settle down one day with a girl.
This is the nature of
Because
it.
that's the attribute of the feminine. I say the problem, there were too many masculine attributes
She will
over the
that's where
centuries.
it
So,
is.
about the cruises,
That's
the witch,
exactly what she's done.
thousands of women being burned.
She will take
And,
care of her.
you know. That was interesting. Needs to be finished.
Yoga Yoga Yogeshwaraya Bhuta Bhuta Bhuteshwaraya
Kala Kala Kaleshwaraya Shiva Shiva Abheshwaraya Shambhu Shambhu Mahadevaya. Bye. Next one. What is it today? Thursday or Friday?
Thursday. I drank some water of life.
Warm?
No, it was quite cool from the stream.
No.
Yeah. What did you say?
It was warm outside anyway.
No, it was quite. I got it directly from the stream, so it's quite cool.
It's starting, I missed the first few minutes, so I don't know if you... No, I didn't miss that few because there was the music singing and then he went into the coronavirus and without giving any figures, especially and like that, but he says that there is some human people who are really idiots, and he was referring to the American people fighting idiots. He said today the virus is a completely unknown virus. We're discovering new things which are not just lung and pneumonia. So really the only thing you have to do is hide from him, you know, because you don't know. So he was very confident that that virus will bring further damage in the way he says it, you know, because it's not going to be just a lung problem. But yeah, he's also very straight. He say more or less, he say yeah, idiot, and he use other words to talk about some stupidity of behavior.
Yeah.
Voilà.
Yeah, you feel like that with some of the people when they're doing their protests and going, I want to be free. It's my choice if I get sick or not, this kind of. And you tend to dislike them, and it's like the people I watch for the religious stuff, but then you have to think they don't know what they're doing. I mean, they have no, it's not like they've had a choice, but, they just haven't had any education or training. A lot of them, if some have had all that and they still decide to go, maybe that's people you'd like to give a slap to. But the education system in America is it's very bad. It's like the education here you'd give a 10-year-old. I think that's pretty much the way they go. So although you kind of like to dislike these people,
there is some people who have a minimum of education. They're not stupid. They have a minimum of logic. And they behave like idiots.
Yeah.
Most Christophe, you can tell. I mean, in his way, Christophe.
Oh, let's stop this recording before I'm going to record myself for the whole day. Anyway, how long was I recording?
So is it very warm or warm?
57 minutes. There we go. It's warm.
Warm.
And stop. I got the hold on it.
Petrol and blah blah, and she said at the end of the month we spend a lot less than usually. So the loss that she's got with an employment benefit of 20% has been nothing compared to the savings she's made. And
mainly for petrol, I guess, yeah?
But petrol, clothes, bar, restaurants, all these things.
Clothes? What, buying clothes?
Buying clothes. She's a woman, she's buying clothes.
God, the amount of stupid money women spend on clothes,
yeah,
huh?
But she was saying she's got a budget of 300 a month for clothes. So
shocking, isn't it? That's just buying for no need at all.
Just her and her husband. He's retired, so he must have between 1,500, 2,000, 2,500, we don't know, and she maybe have another wage, so they had plenty of money, no problem, So for them, they actually make money during the confinement. And then they see another family, middle class, the same, a couple, the both are commerçants, hairdresser, and they've got 2 kids. They are nearly minus 1,000, in their bank account, because they didn't earn anything. They get a bit of the help from the government, in March. So they had 1,000 to make with the whole family, the 2 kids, them, Voilà. So the difference of confinement really depending on the big winner in all that is the retired people and the people with unemployment benefits. Because they're still going to have holidays.
And the public workers, maybe.
Yeah, like Martin and these people, they have the unemployment benefits. They had 2 weeks off, and they're going to still have their summer holidays. And they have the money, the security of the job, and all these things. And other people really, really struggling. So it's like that. That's fair. Life is like that anyway. After it's all attitude, huh? And that couple with lots of money, they are the one who should go and give their 100 euros to the Restaurant du Cœur for people who can't feed themselves at the end of the month, But a lot of old retired or pre-retired people, they're so used to have so much money, There are all these people who make money, like my parents during the 70s and the 80s.
Yeah, and they've got some
big boom, so they've got some habits.
Ideas of probably passing on money to their own families and stuff, so they're all kind of
but also they have a high way of life, a high monthly way of life,
300 euros for clothes.
Yeah, so then these people may change car every 3-4 years,
I hope that kind of stupid consumer madness although it'll probably go back to the way it was, like the girls buying crap in pennies every day.
I don't think it will go back that much, because a lot of people are losing their revenue, and they are...
But even they can just see that, even if they don't lose the revenue, they kind of see hey, we don't really need all this crap after all. We've survived for a month without
Yeah.
pennies and without all that stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe, you know, it could have a bit of a change in people's
Yeah,
habits.
some people will have a revelation thinking, wow, look at all the money I saved compared to the usual, you know. So
People that go out
where
a
they're
lot
going to cut?
will
Bar, restaurants.
cigarettes, wine, I don't think.
No, that they won't cut because you can have your wine at home and your cigarettes at home. But the bar, the restaurant and the clothes, that's the things you don't need really, you know. You can invite your friend at home. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe people are learning to cook a bit more. Some people that
Yeah.
haven't for the first time, they're
Yeah.
maybe experimenting with slicing a carrot and putting it in hot water and seeing the magic happen.
And also they don't have time to cook,
Yeah, but that's when people go out and work out, the money you spend bits and pieces. Even when I was working in the Lloyd's, you go and have a coffee, let's say in the morning, it's like five euros for a coffee. It could be, you know, one of those big ones. And then you have a sandwich, and then you have go and coffee and tea, cake, and all the little bits that these professionals do, and then they have maybe a full meal out. And by the end of the day, you could have spent 70 or 80 euros, you know.
Yeah.
So that's a big saving. Social distancing, huh?
The
So
thing
a word
is,
we didn't
for
hear of
example, for you and me,
4 months ago.
we've been, I mean, our main monthly expenses, I say, are food to X. That's where we spend the most money, I think.
Yeah.
Between the petrol, the motorway, the car parking, you know, and sometimes me shopping for clothes and like that.
Someone up there. Let's go this way.
And there as well, yeah.
Oh, they're leaving now, are they?
Yeah, they're leaving so we can pass by here.
Yeah.
Tuko!
Tuko!
Yalla! So, but except that, well, you do have spent over the last few months, you've been a bit mad about your little gadget.
Oh, I haven't spent very much though.
Oh, I say if you had them up, that must be something like 200, huh?
No, but you were saying yourself, you've probably spent as much yourself on your things.
Which thing?
I don't remember, but you've often said, oh, I just spend as much myself on the things I buy, so.
Yeah, I do get that, but I bet money as well on the things, so it's, well, let's be honest, we don't spend much money, and we have Oscar, Nora, you know?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why we can stop during that time as well, because we've got a very small...
I mean, spending 30, even if it's 20, 30 euros every now and again, it's not a big expense. You're lucky. There's guys out there spend thousands and thousands on food.
Yeah. Maybe we'll have to rethink the cinema.
Yeah.
People go out there.
Unless
One
people,
everything table, for example. For example, you can be sure the table at the bar, I see, we have to occupy it, huh? You can't, you know, there will be one table separate from the others,
yeah.
plus outside the terrace.
Yeah, I don't know, you have to book people, and if somebody rings to book a table, what will you be doing, you know? We might be that exclusive club after all. I'm sorry, I don't have a free table till next month. You might well be like that. What? Next month? Yeah, I'm sorry, we can only take like 6 people at a time now, so we're booked up till the middle of June. How about August? Oh, sorry, August. No, that's gone. That's completely booked. Be like Frasier. I finally got a place at the Connemara.